And that fear keeps us from seesawing. Missed opportunities. But keep in mind, God does uncommon works through common deeds. Uncommon works through common deeds. And I have an example of this true. A doctor was volunteering his time and talent to the 12,500 victims of Hurricane Trinity. One man came to him and shared a riveting story to this doctor. As the waters rose around his house in New Orleans, this man swam out the window. With 2 children clothing and clinging to his back, the man found safe refuge atop the tallest building in the neighborhood. Other people joined him on the roof. Soon a small circle of people huddled together on what would be their home for 3 days until they were rescued. After an hour on the top of this building, the man realized he was on top of a church. He patted the rooftop and announced to others, "We are on holy grounds." His announcement sparked the memory of another, a woman. She looked around the area, crawled to the steeple, hugged it, and proclaimed, "My grandfather and my grandmother helped build this church." Do you think those grandparents ever imagined God would use their work to save their granddaughter? I'm pretty sure people pray for God to use this building to save souls. But they could not have imagined God using this building to save their grandchild from a hurricane. The church builders had no idea how God would use the work of their hands. And nor do you. What difference do selfless deeds make? Do you ever wonder if your work makes a difference? Do you ever dream that you can make a difference? God has a simple answer to us today. He says, stop wondering, stop dreaming, just do something and see what happens. That's what God told the citizens of ancient Jerusalem. For 16 years, the temple of God had lain in ruins. They had abandoned their work. The reason? Opposition from enemies, indifferences from neighbors, but most of all, the job was overwhelming. To build the first temple, King Solomon had needed 17,000 carriers, 80,000 stone cutters, 3,300 foremen, and it took 7 years. A huge and intimidating task and challenge. The workers must have thought, what difference will my work make? God's answer to that is found in Zechariah chapter 4, verse 10, where he says, "Do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin." We all heard the term, "just do it." Obviously, Nike uses that to promote their apparels and shoes. Just do it. When you stop for a moment and think about it, it's a powerful word. Just do it. What seems small to you might be huge to someone else. Mr. Bob Fox will surely agree if he was here. During World War II, he flew the B-17 bomber, one of those big planes. On one mission, his plane was hit with Nazi anti-aircraft guns. Even though his gas tanks were hit, the plane did not explode, and Mr. Fox was able to land the plane. The very next morning, Fox asked his crew chief, the German ship, he wanted to keep a souvenir of his incredible good fortune. The crew chief explained that not just one, but 11 shells had been found in the gas tanks, none of which had exploded. Mechanics opened the missiles, and found them without any explosive charges. They were all empty except one shell. And in that one shell contained a carefully rolled piece of paper. A message had been written in the Czech language. The note read, "This is all we can do for you now." I know many of us says, wait a minute. Why would a German missile or shell have a note written in the Czech language? Well, obviously, if you go back to our U.S. history class, Germans invaded Czechoslovakia. And they forced the citizens of that country to work in their ammunition plants. A courageous assembly line worker was disarming bombs and scribbled the note. He could not end the war, but he could save one plane. He could not do everything, but he did something. So he simply did. Keep in mind, God does big things in small deeds, such as ours. So just do it. Another war story of the name of Chief Wiggles of the United States National Guard stationed in Iraq. He simply did it. I Googled Chief Wiggles, and for the next hour or so, there's no information about this person. He was humble. He said, thousands of people tried their very best to find out who I am, but that's not important. But his nickname is Chip Wiggles. Just like Mr. Halverson, Chip Wiggles' story begins with a child at a fence. And like the candy bomber, Chip Wiggles' work began by giving one gift. In Baghdad, he noticed a little girl crying through a stretch of barbed wire fence. He said she was obviously very poor in her tattered old dress, totally worn out plastic flip-flops. Her hair matted against her head, indicating she had not had a bath in a long time, and her skin blistered from the dirt and weather. The soldier remembered some toys in his office, so he hurried back and brought the girl a toothbrush, a whistle, sorry Wayne, and a toy monkey. As he gave the gifts, he said her eyes just lit up with joy. He posted this experience on his webblog. And within the hour, thousands of people responded, asking where they could send gifts of their own. Operation Give was born. And the soldier inherited Mr. Halverson's nickname. Therefore, he became to known as the Chief Wiggles. Moses had a staff. Young David had a sling. Samson had a jawbone. Rahab had a string. Mary had some ointment. Aaron had a rod. All were used by her. What do you have? Do not look further, but within yourself. What do you have? Grandmother,